All right, so here is the unplanned part 2 of this because I was really long-winded in the last one. So let's talk about thesis statements specific to your case study. The first thing I have to recommend to you is to go back to that UNC page and ask yourself those questions. How do I know if my thesis is strong? And if you aren't sure, ask. That's it. Just ask. So go through those questions once you have what we call a working thesis. A working thesis, I hope I don't see your working thesis, right? I want you to go through the steps to get a thesis statement so that when I review your thesis statement before you turn in your final copy, I have something to work with and not one of those, the glass castle was pretty good kinds of sentences, okay? Now, I keep mentioning in that first video, I kept mentioning you have to actually answer the prompt. You have to answer the question. You have to refer to the assignment. Your thesis statement should directly answer this question. Are the Walls children safe to stay in their home in their parents' care or not? So when I talk about the thesis statements need to be specific, it needs to answer every part of this question. When I say they need to be able to stand alone, I should be able to ask this question to you, and then you should be able to read your thesis statement and answer it. That's your goal. Now, this is not really a yes-no question, right? I mean, yes, they are safe to stay in their homes in their parents' care, or no, they can't. But then think back to that social media thesis statement. Where are you headed with that? So what about yes and no? What about it? So what? Yes, they can, or no, they can't. Put specifics in your claim. Go back to the assignment. The Walls children are safe to stay in their home in their parents' care because of roadmap, right? Your argument has to answer this question. Now, why do you think they should stay / should be taken away? Why do you think they are safe or unsafe? Asking yourself this and then answering it in your thesis statement is your roadmap. Now, these are not two separate sentences, remember? You don't just make your claim, put a period, and then state why and put a period. It's all one sentence. So your roadmap, you want to ask yourself, why do you think they should stay? Or why do you think they should be taken away? Now, we keep saying they, right? We keep saying these children. And so now we have to actually consider our text. You largely have two options. You can either mention our actual book title, The Glass Castle, and side note, it is always italicized when you're talking about the book. If you're talking about like Rex Walls' idea of a glass castle, you don't italicize that. Or mentioning the family name, the Walls children, the Walls family, okay? Depending on, you choose which one, depending on the way you attack this paper. Let me move myself out of the way. Depends on how creative you'd like to get. Are you writing this whole project from a social worker's perspective, presenting your defense on whether the children are safe or unsafe, or are you writing a paper for English 1101? What I suggest, without hesitating, is you are now a social worker presenting your defense. If you are writing from this perspective, you will use the Walls family, the Walls children, okay? Remember their last name, by the way, is W-A-L-L-S. All right, you will always have that S on the end. If you are writing a paper for English 1101, you are now talking about a book. It is less creative. It is less buying into this whole case study idea. And I mean, I'm not just going to tear it up, but try to come at this as a social worker presenting your defense, okay? And I'm the one you have to defend. I'm the one you have to present your defense to. You are defending the children one way or the other, okay? So social worker, Walls family. Paper for English 1101 is the glass castle. Now, next steps. Rough draft feedback. As you saw in one of my previous videos and in the little write-up that I did, your reflection, when you have it finished, I'll be checking for completion, but I'm reading your thesis statement. Do your best not to give me a working thesis. Do your best to write out your working thesis, answer all those questions from UNC, fix it all up, and then get me the good stuff right off the bat. If you present your best work to me for the rough draft, it can only get better, okay? It can only get better if you present the good stuff. And that's it.